Welcome back to the Spook House. Doug, thanks for joining me yet again. We got a heavy hitter today, baby.
There's gonna be a lot to say, a lot to talk about, a whole lot of. I feel like I'm disgusted and happy at the same time about what we're gonna get into.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Ty West, our our boy Ty West, he stepped up, man. We needed this one, you know.
This was something that the trailer lived up to the actual movie because the trailer looked great, and
The
then
movie far exceeded the trailer, I thought.
absolutely, it was. I mean, it was so good.
Yeah.
There's so much to say about it, but when it comes down to the simplicity of it, just a solid, fun slasher movie.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy Ty West. T.I. Rubber Band Man.
Hey, all about that down South North Carolina.
Wild like the Taliban.
That should be the background of just include
Oh man.
guy in the back of this.
Dude, anytime he walks into a room now, somebody should be playing Rubber Band Man.
Rubber Band Man, you can have whatever you like after this movie. Just give him all the money to create whatever he wants.
Hell yeah. Well, this was his first horror movie in like a minute. I should know the exact amount of time, but his last movie was in 2016, and it was not horror.
Is that
I'm
the
assuming,
Innkeepers, or was that something else?
I think it was The Innkeepers.
'Cause I thought
I
that was a horror movie. A lot of people have. I mean, I've had a couple people recommend it to me. I didn't see it yet. It's on my
think I
list.
told you. I think I told you about it.
You might have told me.
Yeah, it's good. It's a nice little ghost haunting movie. It has more humor. But yeah, it's a good watch. I recommend that one. And everybody loves House of the Devil. So
House of the Devil, I was heavily into. I love all like the. I'm not religious at all, but like the cult stuff just gets me. I don't know why I love it so much.
yeah, same here. On both of those points. You know what? I'm so glad that X did not do was it turned out that the old people were in some satanic cult and they needed because I feel like that's just played out at this point.
Yeah, it's like everyone kind of waits for that twist now, with like every like a deeper meaning into what the motives are. But like this was, it's a slasher movie. It was simple. It was to the point. Ironically, I mean, I felt so bad for for Pearl. I was like, Jesus Christ, why am I so emotional about this? What the?
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, guys, all the spoilers. We're just gonna before. Yeah, we're gonna talk all sorts of shit. With that said, yeah, somebody help Pearl up. She broke her hip, man. Come on. She's like my hip.
You can't help her with it while her head is splattered all across the dirt road.
Ooh,
There,
gonna need a lot of super glue for that one.
yeah, Gorilla Glue. Get some wet cement.
Yeah.
And dry cement. Is that what you do with it?
You know, one of the main gripe I've seen people have with this movie, they say it's not gory enough. I thought it was an adequate amount of gore.
It's not. I mean, if you go back to like a lot of the old, like not a lot of them, but there's plenty of slasher movies that it's a build up. There's not a lot of gore in it, but like when the gore happens, it's a lot, but it's just scattered throughout the movie. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to like. I feel like people like, especially with slasher movies, like they just want like just gore, 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 gore constantly, but that would get boring and old. Like this actually had like a build up, and there was gore throughout the movie. But like once the end happened, you had Jenna Ortega. First of all, Jenna Ortega keeps getting fucked up during these movies,
I thought you were about to say she keeps getting better, which
and well,
yeah.
she is.
If they don't make her the fucking lead in the next Scream, I'm gonna drive to the fucking Studio Silence or what
Backlog.
Radio Silence or whatever their fucking names are, if they give the lead role to that, what's her name? Cabrera.
Oh yeah, drawing a blank on it.
Dude, if they pass up Jenna Ortega as the lead in Scream, they have lost their fucking minds.
Between
she's so good.
Yeah, she's great. I know you're not a fan of the other chick.
No.
She can get better too.
What?
She can get better.
She's got a ways to go. But let's not talk about Scream right now.
You know we're gonna go on a tangent at some point.
Yeah.
Or Halloween Kills. It's gonna happen.
It'll happen at some point. But yeah, Jenna Ortega was great. Yeah, we were talking about the gore or the complaints of lack thereof. I thought it was fine. Like you said, you don't need tons of gore, and not to mention these are old people that are killing. I mean, they're not gonna fucking pick somebody up with a chainsaw and lift them up and cut them in half. I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, they're not superhuman. Like you actually, I think this was the most like realistic depiction of old people in like horror movies because the dude's bending down and coughing up a lung. He figured out a way to get Jackson to like down to the pond so he could shoot him. You know, yeah. He's not super like he doesn't have super strength, so he's not gonna like manhandle him. He made it seem like he was like in distress or like distraught and drowning, and he tricked him and fucking shot him right in the chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I like all the deaths.
The gator scene I thought was a little much.
You know what?
I've heard that could actually happen, so I'm more inclined to have suspension of disbelief with that.
Now that you mentioned that was I'm fine with it, but that was the only moment where it felt a little bit hokey.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Like when she said "bitch" and then the alligator, it was like too perfect or something. It was like, okay, well,
yeah. It's like she didn't need to have an insult there, like fucking, like I don't know, James Bond or whoever was out there.
Yeah.
Like when she did, like she had a gun and she just like blew the smoke off it or something.
Yeah.
There's really not. There's like very minimal bad things about this movie, which I can't really. No, I can't really say I didn't like really anything in this movie.
Yeah, and I hate that we're trying to already pick apart what I wouldn't even say they're dislikes, just moments that, you know what? Fuck that. Let's talk about how great this movie is.
Right,
I don't want to dampen the mood at all because
no.
This was the best horror movie I've seen since Hereditary, easily.
I was at work when you texted me that. You said, "I will give you guys some behind the scenes." You texted me at I don't know. You saw the movie at like 5:30.
Yeah,
so it must have been about like I don't know 7, 8. You were like, "Movie's a masterpiece."
Yep,
I haven't felt this on edge since like Hereditary, and I was like,
10 out of 10, baby.
It made me even more excited about it. Yeah. But I was going into the movie with that in mind, and it did not disappoint at all.
Yeah. This is the best slasher movie within 10 years, easily. Maybe like I can't think. Shit, man, this might be like right behind Halloween for me.
Damn. Okay.
I mean, if we're talking straight slasher, like.
Well, the slasher, I would say the slasher genre, let's say like you said, the past 10 years, slasher genre is dead.
Yeah.
Pun intended. There has been no really straight slasher movies, not a lot of them in the past 10 years. I don't think it's all franchise like rejuvenating dead franchises. Halloween, 10 years. We're going 10 years from what year? 2012. Scream. I mean, there were all Texas Chainsaw. There was the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which was in 2010, or 2009. But still, not a lot have just been like original, straight up slasher movies. No meaning, just like super fun, super bloody, super gory. The characters, and if there were a slasher movie, it's just like one of those paint by numbers. You've seen it all before. Very like, very tropey kind of shit like that. Like Terrifier, I would say is up there as one of the best slashers in the past 10 years for sure.
True. Well, yeah. The movie itself, a lot to be desired. Art the Clown, great slasher villain. Everything else, I'm really looking forward to Terrifier too. But yeah, glad you pointed that out. That is the last big slasher I can think of.
Or that didn't even get like a wide release in the theater or anything.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean this movie is it's like it's a piece of art. It's like
Yeah.
it's not like an elevated horror like Hereditary or any of like the usual like The Witch or something like that. It's like I would say it's like art house slasher because it's filmed beautifully.
Yeah, that's a good description. And I didn't know this, but man, a lot of people are really getting worked up over the term elevated horror. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I see why people say elevated horror. It's kind of annoying when people say it sometimes because can't we just say, "Hey, that was a good horror movie?" You know?
A lot of people just don't understand it, and it's so easy just to fall into the void of hatred or just like dislike something. But like, there's so many. That's like saying like, oh, found footage horror is stupid. Elevated horror, while the term might be, the definition might not be like, it might be like splintered. There might be different definitions of it or as what people consider elevated horror, but it's another subgenre of horror. There's
Yeah,
plenty slasher, body horror, paranormal, all that stuff.
sure. Yeah, man, I'm just glad that this movie was not that yeah, it was a straight up slasher and it didn't turn out that it was Mia Goth was imagining the whole thing and it's a metaphor for her repressed whatever, you know? It's like no, they're it's just a group of people and they get killed by this murderous old couple.
And that's why this movie is going to age well because you could honestly put this movie in any decade and it'll work. You can put it in the
Yeah.
70s, 80s, 90s. It's just straight up. There's murderers in every decade,
Yeah.
and you could really put it in any setting, and it works.
Do you think that this could possibly start uh, a slasher trend? I don't want to say trend, but
Like a resurgence of the slasher movie.
yeah, like could studios see this and be like, oh, so you can take a simple slasher formula and do more with it, like ramp up the cinematography and the score and the atmosphere of it all. Like you can have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't have to just be blood and guts with no artistic merit. You can,
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. No. You have a good point there because like it seems like over the past couple of years there's like no real middle ground. It's either like the Hereditaries of the world, which is like this amazing piece of cinema, and there's some pretty heavy gore scenes, but like it just is deep on every psychological level. And then you have just the like the Ouija movies of the world that are just like
Yeah.
garbage. That are just like no thought behind it, just like kind of made to make money and do a quick turnaround because the Blumhouse horror movies are all cheap to make. There's really no budget, and they make a quick return on it because people go out and see it. But I think it depends on how well X does in theaters. Because if they see numbers, if they see people dropping money on it, then hopefully they'll be more inclined to make it at least on like a major scale.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. I know a lot of people are talking about this. I mean, it seems to be blowing up.
That's a good thing for us horror fans because
I'm
like
gonna go
this,
see it again.
I'm trying to see it again this week for sure. In this movie, among the gore that I feel like we're both on the same page with, that like it's not the gore is wonderful in this movie. I don't think it's
Yeah.
like
Well, you know what, Doug? I have all the kills written down here. So I figured a good a topic list we'll just start with every kill.
let's go, let's go.
We'll just so I guess we'll start with the intro. You don't really see a kill, but the sheriff tells the other guy, come down to the basement. He's like, you got to come take a look at this. Now, the guy that's strung up in the basement was presumably Pearl's sex slave.
Yes, that's what I've been reading. I didn't know how to take it at face value when I first saw it. I was like, oh, so you obviously see that they've done this before.
Yeah.
And that they kind of like trap people into staying there because they saw the ad, like Wayne saw the ad in the newspaper or whatever. And it was like $30 to like stay there, but he gave him some more money. So obviously the old couple has like a system in place to get these people to stay there.
Yeah, well, I saw that guy in the basement could have been the trucker that hit the cow at the beginning of the movie, because I don't think you see whoever was driving that truck. So presumably he could have hit the cow and walked up the road to ask for help.
Right. Okay.
But I think when Maxine and Wayne were in the convenience store, you see a quick shot of a milk carton, like a missing person. And I think that was the guy. I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I read that and I was like, oh shit.
And the car that was in the pond or the lake or whatever. River.
Or it could have been that. Could have been, yeah.
But that car could have been like you said before. Maybe that car was the one that hit the cow. I don't remember. Like that, we could have seen that car before in the gas station or on the road, or it could have been a random car.
Yeah, I don't think we saw that. I think it was a bug, VW bug. I don't think we saw that car, but yeah. Apparently they've been doing this for a while. Pearl has her, man, what a way to go, huh? Just strung up and banged to death by this old lady.
Yeah, and he was just rotting.
Hopefully he was dead before, or I don't know.
You know, like, you didn't really have to, like, if all she wants is dick, she could have just strung him up without killing him. Because, like, all right.
Somebody jump that grenade, please. Save some lives and just
dick her down already. You're gonna have to, first of all, I don't know how homeboy slid it into her vagina that is probably dry as sandpaper.
Oh my god.
that scene was so, I know we're talking about the kills, but that sex scene, if you want to call it that, was very uncomfortable and went on for way too long for my liking.
Yeah, you know what though? One question that this movie does kind of force the audience to ask is like, well, how come these old people can't have sex? Why do we see that and we're repulsed by it? And so it kind of makes you ask these questions. I guess younger people, everybody kind of has a fear of dying and getting older, and
yeah.
But they're all the sex scenes, all the old people gross out stuff, while very uncomfortable. Yes, I was like, fuck. I was like squirming in my seat. There's nothing that's like over the top gross about it. Like you don't see a fucking boil explode or something. It's just, I mean, yeah, it's not pretty to look at, but I feel like this movie does, there's something deeper to it. It does kind of force you to think like, well, why can't these old people,
And the whole sad aspect of it is that, you know, whatever his name is, the old dude, I forgot his name.
Howard.
Howard, that's what it is. He has a heart problem, so obviously it's harder for him to like, get worked up and everything, but everyone, like, as we get older, and I mean, Pearl obviously took it way too far, and started murdering people to have sex, but like, she just wants to be loved and wanted, and she even feels disgusting. She's not comfortable in her own skin because she knows what she used to be, and she's like chasing after that fountain of youth, which you can't, no matter what you do, you can't get it back. And I think through like murdering people, she kind of felt like she did when she was younger. Like she kind of felt alive. Maybe we'll see what happens in her past life as to why she chose that path to go down. Maybe something happened to her. I don't know. I find that part interesting about her backstory.
Yeah, and you do feel some sympathy towards this old couple.
Oh, I was upset. I was like, bro, I'm about to start crying at this horror movie right now.
Yeah, I mean, when she's looking at her old pictures, and especially during the landslide guitar scene,
Yeah,
there's images of Pearl looking all sad and stuff, and while they're singing this song by Fleetwood Mac about getting older, and I don't know, it definitely elicits all sorts of emotions, and yeah, you feel a bit of sympathy for the villains in the movie, or at least you understand why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, obviously it's fucked up, but you understand why. And
yeah, you could see why they went a little over the edge.
Yeah, just pull it back, Pearl. You don't have to.
Yeah, listen, there's plenty of dudes out there on Craigslist with an old lady. She could probably log onto the internet if they had the internet. Well, no, it's the 70s, so they don't have the internet.
Yeah.
I already forget that it's in the 70s because you could literally place this movie anywhere. She might have a hard time, but I'm sure she could, go out of the box and do something else besides murdering people for sex. But if she's a necrophiliac and fucks dead people, I mean, during rigor mortis, their dicks are probably as hard as ever.
On that note, let's move to the next. Let's move to the next. Then. All right,
Pearl out here.
No, hey, keep it coming.
Pearl
hey, all right, death number 2. RJ stabbed in the neck by Pearl. I thought this entire scene was amazing.
Yeah, kind of reminiscent of the Joker scene. If you've seen that, when he's kind of dancing in the bathroom after his first murder, and he's kind of like, he kind of has this sense of power and freedom. Kind of feels like that's what Pearl felt when she shanked this dude in the neck. That she was like dancing in like the moonlight.
Yeah. You could say that killing another layer of motivation for these killers is that since she can't have sex and be desired, killing gives her that same sort of rush. And that's why she's like dancing but yeah, man, that whole, I don't know what the fuck people are talking about lack of gore. I mean, dude's head was nearly decapitated.
Yeah. First of all, I was so not ready for that to happen. Like the way the trailer was cut, and I had completely different projections and predictions about this movie before I actually saw it. Like I thought it was going to be about cannibals or something, or something is like something paranormal is happening with Pearl and she's possessed or something like that. But no, she's just a sex crazed old woman stabbing people in the neck, and she was quick on it.
Yeah,
that happened very fast.
Yeah, this was around the point in the movie where I nearly pulled my phone out and sent you a text and be like, dude, dude. When the fucking blood splattered on the headlights and everything had this red sheen to it, I was like, "Whoo, we got one, baby. We are doing it."
You crazy for this one, Ty?
You crazy? Rubber band, man.
You got
9 in my right, 45 in my other hand.
and this turned into a full-on TI episode. All things Ty. But yeah, that scene was really awesome. That kind of kicked off everything.
Yeah.
And it really didn't take that long to get to it. I mean, the premise is pretty, like, it's an hour and 45-minute movie. Things are moving. It was paced perfectly, but it was a slow build, but the first kill was within like a half hour, seemed like.
I feel like that came around about 50 minutes or an hour or so.
Oh, really?
I think so. I don't know. But
Yeah,
everything everything before that, I really enjoyed. I mean, do you like Boogie Nights?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah. Great fucking movie. So it was kind of like Boogie Nights for like the first hour. You even had Maxine, almost like the Mark Wahlberg character, because in that movie he's like, "I'm going to be a star."
Yeah. He's fucking ruining his bedroom, and his mom is like complaining. He's off doing his own thing, and he's like, "I just want to fuck mom."
Yeah.
We just want to fuck, comma, mom, not fuck mom.
All right.
Just making sure we got the punctuation proper. But yeah, it did feel like, I mean, the 70s is just a fun era to film it. Like down to the clothes, down to the slang, music. It just looks great. And I mean, they must have recorded on like 35 millimeter or something, because it looks like all grainy and very 70s like, and that's what makes it. It's just a comforting movie to watch. Like, it's satisfying to watch it be on film.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as the look of it and also the sound design, I love how you hear all the little crickets just in the background. You really feel like you are at this farmhouse. It really pulls you in to the setting, you know?
Yes. They didn't like, just for example, some people don't, or some composers or directors, whoever decides on the score and where to put it and when to cue the music and all that stuff. I feel like there's been in the past where, like, you know, in order to like live in the scene with the characters, like you said, like, you hear the crickets, you hear the wind blowing, you hear the wind chimes or whatever.
Yeah.
That really injects us into the scene. And there, just for example, this isn't a movie, but The Walking Dead, every character who speaks, they talk over like a music bed, instead of like letting the scene like breathe. Like, there's no sense of space. Like, sometimes you don't need music. Sometimes you got to know when to just keep it between the characters, so that it feels like an actual conversation is happening rather than like a monologue.
Yeah, true. But yeah, like a lot of people compare this to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't, other than a few things, sure, you know, kids in a van going across the country. I mean, the back roads of Texas in the 70s. Yeah, obviously there's going to be some comparison, but that's about, and the layout of the house, like when they first walked.
Did you notice that?
Okay. I was like, okay, the stairway
looks exactly like you.
I was expecting Leatherface to run out from behind there and like slam the fucking door shut, or like.
Imagine if the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a segue into X.
My God, that movie wishes it was in the same stratosphere as this movie. I mean,
well, that's for another conversation.
Yeah, we'll talk about. I mean, yeah, we'll just say that for another one. I didn't hate that movie, but we'll move on and let's keep talking.
Yeah,
about it.
I didn't hate it either. I mean, it was garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it was turn your brain off, and yeah.
And to quote TikTok or millennials, they understood the assignment, unlike Halloween Kills.
There it is.
You know what's gonna happen.
For the record, Doug is a fan of the movie Malignant. All right, moving on.
You're saying that like it's an insult.
Ah, don't get me started, man. Come on.
All right, X.
We love this. We finally agree on a movie. Let's just keep going here. Okay.
We agree on plenty of movies,
Yeah, I know.
just not the shitty ones.
All right. So next death, Wayne, with the pitchfork. He
Might
gets
have been my favorite.
Yeah, this was really cool. He gets woken up by Jenna Ortega. She tries to go find RJ is missing, so she gets Wayne to go help him look for her. He's in his skivvies.
Scabies.
Dude, do you know what movie Wayne was in? Another horror movie.
I looked at I literally looked at everyone's IMDb when I got out of the movie, except it was like 1 a.m, so I don't remember.
The Ring. He
Oh.
is. Yeah, that's that fucking guy. That's Naomi Watts, ex, whatever, the father of. Yeah.
I've actually only seen The Ring once.
No way.
I'm not
Damn.
a huge fan of that movie.
That was a hot movie back in the day, man. For 2002, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot coming out then, and I remember watching that one quite a bit. But
early 2000s were a weird time. It was like new metal horror. That's what I like to call it. It was very like El Nino to the soundtrack.
Take me back.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, this movie needed some spine shake in it.
Spine shank.
Yeah.
Has some Power Man 5000.
Fuck yeah.
Some Flaw. Taproot. We can keep going.
Dude, no lie, I still love Taproot.
That one song.
Hey man, they had some bangers.
There was another one on that album that was pretty fire. I remember it was track number 4. I don't remember the name.
All right, shout out to Taproot.
He's probably working at Stop and Shop right now. Sorry, you don't know.
So Wayne's death. Yeah. I like this whole scene. He goes out to the barn. Uh-oh, what you got going on over there, Doug? He's ringing and dinging over there.
It hasn't been going off this whole entire time.
It's okay. Maybe it'll stop. So Wayne's death. I really like the shot of the nail in the board, because you're like, oh no, like is he oh fuck, he did.
What is another great thing about this movie is that the way, like with Ty West's direction, you know things are about to happen, and that's what makes it fun for the audience. You're like, oh, he's stepping on that fucking nail. He's doing it. Don't look through those eye holes. Something is gonna happen. You don't know what, but something's gonna happen, and I think that's what makes it like you have to go to the theater to watch it.
Yeah.
Because with the audience participation, like people are gonna gasp. God damn it! You know things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool, because when the audience knows more than the characters, with slashers at least, it makes it fun, because you're kind of like having commentary along with
Uh-huh.
I figured out a way to shut that off.
One more for good measure. It's gonna ring for every death in the movie. So we got like 5 more to go.
All right.
No, yeah, when the pitchfork goes through his eyeball, I physically like kind of jumped back a little bit. It got me. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. And it's great misdirection in the trailer too, because they show that point in the trailer, and you just see her looking through the eye hole. You don't know where they are. You don't know if it's in a house. You don't know if it's, and you just don't know. There's still some mystery behind it, but it is a good. I love how they cut this trailer together where you really don't know what's happening, and you might think you do, but the movie completely forces you to. Whatever misconceptions you had, it completely turns it around.
Yeah. Trailer didn't show too much, thankfully. Or I didn't like try to break down each frame and be like, "Oh, what's this mean?"
Yeah, and you don't need to. This movie isn't like that at all.
This would be the perfect movie to take somebody to that has no clue, that hasn't seen the trailer. Just be like, "Hey, film with me. We're gonna watch this movie." It just, yeah.
the name of the movie is perfect. Like this comedian, do you know who Patrice O'Neal is? I think, yeah, right.
Yeah, of course. R.I.P. Yeah.
Well, R.I.P. Patrice, baby. One of the best. There was this one segment that he did on Opie and Anthony where they were making fun of like the sci-fi movies, like the original sci-fi movies that air on the channel, and it's just like really weird sequels of like popular movies, like or like spin-offs of like the Terminator called like Space Killer Guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I always think about this: no good movie has a fucked up title, and it's kind of true. And they're like, what about Jurassic Park? And he was like, if Jurassic Park was on Sci-Fi, it would be called Dinosaur Forest.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is fucking genius. X, perfect title. It's mysterious. It stands for, it has some meaning to it. The X Factor thing and
Yeah, that's
XXX.
true.
They're filming a porn movie. It's just like one of those horror movies where you see it and you're like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Maxine's name has an X in it.
Good fucking point.
Well, I didn't even notice that until I wrote down my little notes earlier. I was like, hey, look at that.
You could have played it off like you were a genius.
Yeah. So yeah.
I was going to go with like X marks the spot. I don't know what that means, but some spot. Who knows?
They should have put some DMX in the soundtrack.
X gave it to us hard.
Oh man, he gave it. R.I.P. to another. Just handing out all the R.I.Ps today.
Rough Riders, baby.
Yeah, Wayne. Hated to see him go. He was a good guy.
I thought, yeah, all the characters were pretty.
I like all the characters. That's another thing about this movie. It doesn't play on the tired ass tropes of, oh, this is a really annoying person that you want to see killed, and this person has this little quirky thing. They all felt like believable, regular ass people. They weren't annoying. I hated to see all the characters die. When each of these characters died, I was like, no, not that guy.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit. Like you were kind of rooting for
him. Yeah. And Wayne had like one of the best lines in the movie. He was like, we're gonna be rich. Feel how hard my cock is.
And the dude, RJ, the cameraman, he was totally fine with holding another man's dick, and he didn't want to see his girlfriend get plowed by Kid Cudi.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. I mean,
he definitely didn't want to see it.
Yeah, Kid Cudi. I didn't even know that was him. Yeah, he's great in this as well.
I mean, again, again, when you go in to watch a slasher movie, you're really not going in for phenomenal acting. But I mean, everyone just did their job. Like they were great. Nothing was like Toni Collette outstanding, but no actor really.
Well, it would have felt out of place if there was like this big moment with a drawn out monologue and they're going for that Oscar gold. I mean, that's not what this movie was.
Yeah, no, they were just, I mean, they all did their job perfectly. They were all just like, all the characters were super cool. You got a chance to kind of get a peek behind the curtain of what their mentality is like with Maxine. She wants to do anything she can to be a star and leave
including lots of blow.
Lots of cocaine. Definitely relied on that heavily. Yeah. Wayne wanted to break into that industry and be a millionaire. He wasn't, and he wasn't like an all the way sleazeball. Like he cared for the people he was around. He wasn't trying to screw anybody over.
Well, he has that line where he's like, said something about I don't want to have to make a living wearing a hard hat or something like that.
Yeah, it's cool that he wants to help out the people that if they help him, he helps them. Kind of like that.
Yeah, they felt like a real family. There wasn't like the sleaze bag that was like, well, when this movie blows up, kid, me and you are gonna
we're gonna take the money and run.
Right. There was none of that kind of stuff.
He's not a rambling man. But yeah, and Brittany Snow's character, she had some like some country bumpkin name,
Bobby Lynn.
Bobby
Bobby
Lynn,
Lynn.
Bobby Joe, Bobby Lynn. She was awesome. Like I loved how she was like the confident type of sexual character, and the church mouse was she was she was just very. I love that conversation that they had where she was just like intrigued about like there was stuff about not misogyny, monogamist in there, being monogamist and having like casual sexual partners and stuff like that. Like you don't really get that in a slasher movie, but it's cool that they touched on it a little bit because all the characters are flawed and the sex industry is a different industry that a lot of people don't know about, at least, you know, in the mainstream, I feel like. So that was kind of a different type of dialogue to have, which is cool to see.
Yeah. Moving along to our next death. Is it weird to break down this movie by deaths? I don't know. I'm just.
It kind of goes from start to finish, so no, not at all. We're close.
Yeah.
The plan's already in motion.
We got our boy Jackson up next. Hoorah!
Yeah, hoorah! That scene.
This dude, this dude was just fucking cool. Like you just want to hang out with Jackson. He seems like a chill dude. He's doing push-ups naked. Yeah. He's flexing in front of the window.
His dick is swinging as soon as he answers the door. Doesn't even carry out pants.
I mean, you should. I mean, I guess in any other movie you wouldn't like this guy. You're like, look at this cocky asshole. But this guy is fucking cool. He's just
he's like a Jimi Hendrix type of character. Like
he's like I was born to do this.
Yeah, and like he's confident. He knows he is.
Yeah. So hated to see Jackson go out like that, but great scene here when they go looking for Pearl, even though Howard knows that, you know, Howard's just luring him out there.
Yeah, well, I think this scene happens after Jenna Ortega gets locked in the basement. So, you know, Howard and Pearl are both in on it. So when they cut back to Howard with Jackson, you're like, oh, he's about to get fucking shot. Like, he's about to die. So that was fun watching that scene, like him like setting the trap for Jackson. He put the flashlight in the water to make it seem like he drowned or he's in trouble. Again, they're old, so they need to think of creative ways to, like, you know, get them out to the open and pick them off one by one.
Exactly. And that is why, folks, you know, maybe a shotgun blast to the chest isn't the most creative kill in the world, of course, but that is the most realistic in this scenario.
And he was really up close to him, so that blew out his whole entire body.
Yeah, I just felt like Jackson should have, because Howard really turns it on there at the end. He's like, you can tell this mean old bastard's about to do something. And if I were in that scenario and he's sitting there like talking shit while he has his shotgun, I'd be like, okay, guess I'm about to punch this old dude real quick.
That's the thing. He probably didn't even think. He's like, he's just an old, sad bastard. Like, he's not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's another good point. They pull off some of these kills because you would never. When's the last time you walked by an old person and you were like, they're up to something? This old guy's about to swing on me. I know it.
Yeah, they're just gonna scream and act like idiots, and then that's it. They're not gonna commit murder.
Yeah. So, shotgun blast to the chest. I mean, is what it is. Hated to see Jackson go, but that's how he met his demise.
Yes.
And up next, we got Bobby Lynn. With the alligator. And we do see another side to Bobby Lynn's character. I thought this was a sweet moment. She has actual concern for Pearl. She's like, my grandmother does the same thing. I know all about it. And so it's like, oh, she's just trying to help this old lady. And then Pearl starts talking shit to her.
Yeah, that's how you know she's like really not as crazy as she comes off to be. Like she's very much in control of her feelings. She knows exactly what she's doing, and I think the only person who doesn't know that is Bobby Lamb.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what the? I didn't expect you to say that. What the hell?
Yeah, so Pearl pushes her in the lake, and yeah, well, we talked about it. This was the one death that I was like, okay, we're doing Lake Placid now. All right.
Or Lake Flaccid.
Oh, okay.
That's the next one. Yeah, I'm with you. This was, I mean, it was probably my least favorite just because it was so ridiculous, and the movie was kind of, I mean, as grounded as you can get a slasher movie. This movie just had everything. So like, did it need a gator kill? I love the scene where Maxine was swimming and like the gator was coming right behind her. That was more scary than the actual gator attack.
That was just so fucking cool. I mean, it was like the movie. It was like an interlude in the movie. It was like a brief movie in a movie.
Yeah.
You know? And it just came out of nowhere, and the gator floats onto like the far right of the screen. Maxine's over here, and you're just slow build with I wish I could remember the little music score that was behind it, but everything about it was just fucking beautiful.
And even everything leading up to that with like, and again, these are like, I don't know how like these directors do it, but like the suspense and the mystique of watching Pearl in the bushes from afar. Yeah. It's just so unnerving.
Yeah.
It's just so because she's just leering at her.
Yeah.
And like you know, it's just that those moments in like these movies like Hereditary again, like how Toni Collette was up on the ceiling as the camera pans out and you don't realize until the last second. These direct like Ari, I can never say his name right. Ari Aster.
There you go.
I'm like Ari Aster, Ari Aster. Too many A's. But those type of directors, like they just know how to like utilize space. Very
right. Yeah, another really gorgeous shot when Maxine first walks onto the dock and it's zoomed in on her and then it slowly zooms out real far. I was like, yes, beautiful.
Total fucking like beautiful. Giallo type of shot.
Yeah, you hear that, James Wan? That's how you do a Giallo throwback, you fucking hack.
All right, you got one.
Whoa!
One throw. You got one insult throw.
It was a throwback movie. It was a Giallo.
I don't. All right, I'll give you that.
Giallo my fucking ass.
There. Malignant was definitely not a play on Giallo movies for sure.
According to him, it was. It's a Giallo, dude. You just don't understand.
All right, what is he, fucking Pauly Shore?
No, that was like a lot of the. Never mind. The people that love that movie, they're like, "Who's a throwback, man? You just don't get it." I was like, "Oh, I fucking get it."
I saw it. I watched it.
I seen it.
I've seen that shit.
But yeah, that shot, gorgeous. Loved it. And speaking of like, speaking of like making you feel, I don't know, everything about that scene with her floating in the water, like I could feel the temperature of the water. You could like smell the dirty lake or dirty pond.
Yeah,
they did a great
job. What? Sorry, what?
I said no. I said this movie just pulls you into the atmosphere of it.
Yeah, they really make you feel like you're hanging out with the characters. The way. Also love the layout of how their like farm is set up. Like it almost feels like it was kind of like a maze, jumping from like the house to the barn to the pond. They're all in this one secluded area, but it feels spacious.
Wherever this house, barn, pond is, whoever owns this shit, if they're Airbnb in it, I want to go.
Oh, that's a solid idea. We gotta look that up,
dude. And if they're not, then get your life together because you are missing out on fucking dude. Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't film in Canada or something.
Oh wait, shit! They filmed this in New Zealand. That's right.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we're going to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Didn't even look like New Zealand. That shit
Yeah.
looked like Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck Lord of the Rings. I'm here for new for X, baby.
Dumbledore who?
Hey, speaking of Howard, played by Stephen Ure, U-R-E.
He was in those races.
That's right. He's like, oh yeah, I know all about this place.
Yeah, this is my stomping grounds. Also, since we're getting into that, the makeup and prosthetics or whatever they used, or lack of CGI, it didn't seem like there was any, was amazing because Mia Goth plays Pearl as well. And when I found that out, my mind was blown.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I was home from the theater and reading stuff about the movie, and I was like, oh shit. But like towards the end of the movie, there were moments where I was like, something's. I was like, this isn't an actual old lady. You know?
Couldn't tell.
Really?
I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, who is this? Like,
right.
who? Also, like, I was thinking throughout the movie when she was like kind of like taking off her clothes and she kind of looked all haggard and was brushing her hair. I was thinking like, what older actress would want to be subjugated a little bit in this role because like she's basically saying that she's disgusting, like because you know when you take on this role like it's meant to be like this decrepit old disgusting lady, and it kind of speaks to like ageism a little bit, which is kind of fine that they kind of Ty West kind of gets a pass for casting Mia Goth in this role as Pearl too, because it's not a real older lady. It's just Mia Goth with prosthetics. So
yeah,
they made her look really grotesque, but she did amazing.
Me. I mean,
yeah.
But that's yeah, there was
actual older actress, and people called her gross. You might get shit on for that, but
yeah.
But he kind of found a loophole around it, which is cool.
Yeah, and to be fair to Ty West, he's not really telling the audience this is gross. He's leaving that up to the audience. Yeah. You know? But yeah,
that's what's kind of cool about it, because like on the surface it's disgusting, but when you find out that she's deep down at her core, she's just a person who wants to be treated like a person, and she wants love minus the murder.
Yeah.
And we kind of, like you said before, feel sympathy towards her, and that's something.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next one. So we're at the point in the movie where shit has just gone off the rails. Lorraine is locked in the basement, and before she gets the shotgun, she gets, in my opinion, this was the one Gore moment where I was like, fuck, the hammer to the hand. And you
was that hammer? It looked like it was the butt of the gun, and he was just.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah, because she had the hammer. She was hitting the door with the hammer, and kind of the Jack Nicholson in The Shining type of deal with the one panel of the door broke away, and then once Howard got in the house, he was just like, "Oh shit!" And started hitting her. Yeah, it looked like he was smashing her with the butt of the gun. He tore off her fingers. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, it's gonna need some peroxide for that. Clean that baby up.
Jenna Ortega keeps taking these roles where it's like, all right, you're gonna get mangled in this movie twice, and she's like, all right, where do I sign? Give me the contract.
She was in the middle of filming Scream when she got the call from Ty West. The end. Yeah, and she said that she was pretty comfortable with the material because she was already screaming, and so you're already kind of in that world. So
this was probably, I would imagine this was probably a very low budget movie, and it took like a very short time to shoot. So she probably flew right to New Zealand, did that shit in like a week, and flew right back.
Yeah, maybe. But But yeah, how does she get out of the basement?
Maxine.
Maxine lets her out, and Lorraine gets gets a shotgun to the face.
She gets bucked hard.
Yeah,
That
you
was
say bucked,
bucked. Knucky.
Nucky buck.
Young Buck's still alive, baby.
We're shouting out all the rappers in this one.
T.I., Young Buck, DMX.
You crazy for this one, Ty.
Crazy for this one.
But yeah, man, taken out by the shotgun. I was kind of unexpected. It's like, oh shit.
But it's never a good idea if you straight up run. Also, yeah, she was not the smartest because she was screaming like the whole like when she was like around the house. I'm trying to remember if that was her or Maxine. I don't recall now, but I remember them like one of the characters being like extremely loud, like, "We gotta get out of here!" I'm like, "They're gonna hear you, bitch! What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
come on!"
Yeah. I think that was Lorraine. Maxine was a little more calm and collected.
Yeah. Lorraine was kind of, yeah. You could tell she was a little. I mean, she was the church mouse, so she was just a little more neurotic than the other characters.
Yeah. And after she gets shot, Pearl and Howard run up to her and they're trying to drag her in. Meanwhile, Maxine is like peering around the staircase with her gun. And that is when Lorraine coughs up some blood and that scares Howard.
Yeah.
And he has a fucking heart attack and dies. I mean,
makes sense, I guess.
I guess that sex scene primed his heart. I mean, he just couldn't take it.
Yeah, and it's cool how they set it up too in the beginning of the movie, where he's kind of like bent over, walking to the farmhouse, and he's kind of just coughing up a lung. So you know he's got some issues. He just looks old. They don't look like they have tons of food. Judging from their kitchen, it just looks destroyed.
No, it's like you need some olive oil up in there.
No, I'll give him that harissa.
Doug is the olive oil king, baby.
The olive oil king of Long Island. Never forget it.
Oh man,
I would not. Since I'm from New York, I have a lot of. I feel like I grew up with those type of sensibilities to like not trust a lot of things. So like as soon as like Pearl pours a lemonade, I'm like, no, don't drink that shit. Don't drink it. Why would you do that? There's rat poison in there.
You didn't grow up. Did you ever grow up drinking sweet tea?
I only drink water.
Okay, good for you. But yeah, growing up in the South, like man, my grandma, she would just dump a fucking bag of sugar in that sweet tea. It was like, ooh.
But she didn't put like any poison in it. You know,
no poison, just a bag of sugar, which is kind of
yeah. That probably hyped you up a whole lot when you were young.
Yeah. Yeah. Shotgun to the face, heart attack. Maxine walks out, pointing the gun at Pearl, and Pearl tries to shoot Maxine and gets a little kickback with the shotgun. Oh. Now, what was the audience reaction when you saw this?
So, when me and Holly saw this movie, we had a 10 o'clock showing at night. So by this time, it was like probably midnight when this happened. But there was, I would say, all in all, there were maybe about a little less than 15 people in the theater. Maybe 10. Mm-hmm. I would say around 10. And I'm very animated when I watch movies. I'm not like talking through the whole thing, but I'm like exclamating. I'm like, oh shit, oh fuck, like gasping, just because like I just love movies. I'm like, why? My emotions are out on the table. So it was just me and Holly like saying like, oh shit, like I was gasping. No one else made a noise. So yeah, the theater was kind of filled with just who knows? I don't even know if they were regular horror fans. They're just like, you want to see a movie. But I was definitely gasping a whole lot, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was laughing. Um, that definitely gave me a little tickle in the throat there. I was giggling.
Well, the theater I saw it with, which by the way was one of the most annoying crowds I've been to a theater at in a while.
That's what happens when you go at 5 p.m.
6:30, baby. I mean,
6:30.
hey, by the time you walked in the theater, I was in my pajamas, chilling. Like, see ya. I no.
I was eating dinner, waiting to go to the theater.
Yeah. But yeah, when that part happened, when Pearl gets kicked back by the shotgun, the whole theater like bust out laughing, and a few people, uh, this incredibly annoying group of three girls that wouldn't shut the fuck up for just about the whole movie. They like kept laughing, like they let out a big laugh when it happened, and then like 5 seconds later they like kept laughing. I was like, okay, I fucking get it. Like, was it that funny or was that?
Hey, at least they were listening to some kind of reaction rather than just saying it's boring. But yeah, there's a lot of, especially with these like, because the horror movies are all right. You have us who are like real fans who are really sitting there like watching every scene and like breaking it down in our heads and like really immersing ourselves in it. And then you have like the young teenagers who just want to get the fuck out of their parents' house and go see a horror movie with their boyfriends or
Yeah,
girlfriends, whatever. So this seems like that type of movie. Like, you know, they don't really know, and this goes for just people or teenagers in general. They just see a horror movie's coming out and they're just probably want to see it just because it's a horror movie. It'll be fun. Let's go.
yeah,
Which is fine.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
fuck up.
I'm okay with some humor, but it just seemed like okay.
You didn't think that scene was funny?
It was funny. It was shocking. You know, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
She's
I
like,
think it's more like that.
and she's like, oh my hip. This is when I kind of felt bad for her. I was like, help her up.
Maxine did not give one shit.
Yeah,
He was like, I love that about the character after seeing what has happened to like all her friends and everything. Like, she's not trying to feel sympathy. She's gonna end this problem right now. She's not waiting to talk to you. She's not giving a whole hero speech. She's gonna run you over.
yeah. You know what it kind of reminded me of? Remember when in Chappelle's show when Charlie Murphy and they beat up Rick James and he's like crawling on the floor. He's like, what about my legs?
What about my legs, Charlie Murphy?
Y'all don't appreciate shit.
Couch, you Rick motherfucker.
Y'all don't appreciate
Darkness is.
shit. So Pearl's just like talking shit to her, right? Isn't she like
Saying something, I don't remember what it was.
no, she was like straight up talking shit to Maxine. She was like, you little whore.
Oh yeah. She's like, you know what you are, or something like that. Like,
Yeah. And then Maxine's like, reverse. Skirt. Fucking head slap.
Skirt went back and then forward.
Ooh. Dude, her fucking head popped open like a cantaloupe. You saw like the top of her scalp. Like, ugh.
And what are people saying about the gore?
I don't know. What the fuck do you want? Like
the whole last like 15 to 20 minutes was Jenna Ortega getting her face blown off, her squirting up blood out of her already blown off face.
yeah.
The head burst with the car.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what else do you need?
They want Stone Cold to show up with the beer truck, the fire hose, and just spray down blood everywhere.
Hey, they were in Texas.
Hey, oh shit, the Texas rattlesnake. My God.
Texas rattlesnake with the gun. Right, you just see Stone Cold in the distance walking up.
Oh man, that's the movie I want to see. But yeah, I was totally satisfied with the amount of gore. I don't see the big deal. I mean, speaking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you hardly see any blood at all in that movie.
Yeah, it was very like dark and dingy. Like the lighting was just strange in that.
What do you mean in Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like lighting aside, I mean, you don't see her going on to the meat hook. There's no point where you see Leatherface using his chainsaw on actual flesh. other
We
than
all
himself, when he trips over the fence. But I mean, it's not really a gory movie. Point being that you don't need a whole lot of blood to be effective.
absolutely right.
I mean, big deal. Like,
It's all about how they use the
yeah,
gore, and they use it effectively. There were kills throughout the movie that were, I mean, plunging nails through someone's eyes are pretty gory.
yeah,
I
dude,
don't know where people are saying that it's not gory enough. Maybe that, I mean, there's blood pouring out of his eyes, and then you have Pearl stabbing him with the rake.
dude. Wayne's eyeball was laying beside him. I don't know if
Yes.
he thought that his fucking eye was ripped out of his head. Like, I don't know.
Maybe people just weren't paying attention, but there was plenty of gore to love, and even like, all right, let's just
They were like,
bring.
no, butt fuck him with the pitchfork. I need more.
They want a Serbian film. They want to see like.
I've never seen that movie. I don't.
I mean, it's definitely
I've
should see it at least once. It's something.
I've read about it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out one day. But
But
anyways, what were we saying?
that and Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know where the fuck that.
Hey, Cannibal Holocaust can go fuck itself because
I hate it. I
they kill an actual tortoise in that movie. And any edgelord shocking movie that kills an actual animal, you can go fuck yourself. How
Yeah,
about that?
exactly. Like, I'm not with animal cruelty. I'm not with
Nope.
like dogs getting murdered in films, like just for shock value.
Fuck you.
Yeah, that was
Nope.
an actual animal, and like, no,
Yeah.
that shit should be. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
don't care for Cannibal Holocaust. Those movies should just be called shock value.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, keep the real gore on the movies, you know. But yeah, I was fine with all the blood. I mean, I struggle to find anything really wrong with this movie.
The good thing about this gore was that it felt real. Like,
yeah,
maybe when people say there's not a lot of gore in the movies, they want just like a bloodfest, like ridiculous amounts of blood squirting everywhere, which is not realistic. It's fun, but it's not realistic. This was like, oh shit, this looks pretty damn real.
yeah, yeah. Especially RJ when he gets stabbed in the neck repeatedly, and fuck that one. That one kind of got to me a little bit because there's that one shot where his head is like starting to like come off.
Yeah.
He's like starting to get decapitated. So,
and she keeps on stabbing him.
I guess she should have just ripped his head off and like field goal kicked it at the fucking camera or something to satisfy everybody. I don't know. Like, what do you want? She's a 90-year-old woman or however old she is.
She should. I thought she was going to start fucking him. I thought she was going to be like just start fucking him right in the headlights. I was like, oh my god, like that would have been pretty ridiculous. That would have been even more creepy.
Hey, maybe she did. I don't know. We didn't see.
Yeah. He was there for quite a while.
Yeah. So do you have any gripes with this movie?
Not really. I really
nothing's
say a bad thing about it. I mean,
yeah.
No, I genuinely don't have any negative thoughts about this movie. Really, I really want to see it again.
Yeah.
Like it's always good, like knowing what happens, and then on the second watch you can enjoy it more because you know what's coming. You can focus on certain things a little more that you didn't focus on the first time. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, what about you?
As far as negatives,
You call this a masterpiece.
I'll stand by it. I think this is a fucking masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Like, give me more. People do more of this. Like, it was a formula that I guess we've seen before. It was a simple slasher, but at the same time, it was so refreshing. And I haven't felt this, like on the edge of my seat during a movie. Like, what is going to happen next? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I love everything about it.
Yeah, and there's really no argument to be said. I mean, I mean, everything's up for debate, but you saying it's a masterpiece is not out of the realm of like insanity.
Well, I sent you a couple of screenshots from people on Reddit in the horror subreddit being like, I'm probably going to get downvoted for this, but I thought the movie was blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and
When
people
their
are like,
favorite movie is probably *Malignant*.
you're probably right. Yep.
You gotta reply back and ask that question.
Oh, I talked a little shit on that thread.
Oh, good. I gotta get. I'm not on the Reddit wave. I gotta get on there.
I was gonna see if I could find the screenshot I sent you. You know what? This is too long. But this one person says that says I thought it was trying too hard to be artsy. I thought the references to Texas Chainsaw and Psycho were forced. No, they weren't.
Forced how?
I guess because they were in Texas and it was the 70s and
But like there really was no. It had nothing to do with Texas Chainsaw. Like there was no nod other than like that it's in Texas, and it was cool. Like the house resembled the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, but it wasn't forced. Like again, if you're not a horror movie fan per se like that, like you would never know.
yeah, how many people are going to watch this? And I mean, maybe that layout of the house wasn't even deliberate. Who the fuck knows? Maybe they just found that house and they're like, yeah, perfect location.
Yeah. And Psycho, like, are they talking about when she was like holding the knife up? When she was killing RJ in the on the front lawn.
I can't imagine that would be what that is. Well, RJ does. Somebody references Psycho at one point because he's like, it's like you can't change the movie halfway through, and Lorraine is like, well, you like Psycho,
yeah. And he was like, that was just I forgot what the explanation was.
Right.
Yeah, they did explain Psycho, but also, guess what?
Yeah. So fucking what?
I mean, also like, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say?
And apparently, you do see a car floating in the water, similar in Psycho, to like the VW that Jackson finds in the pond.
I mean, there's so many. It's amazing how some people have.
It's not Scream 5, I'll tell you that.
No way is it Scream 5.
Jesus Christ! Like every fucking character talking about the current state of the horror genre and elevated horror, and it's like, yes, we fucking know.
That's every Scream movie, though.
God damn.
Scream gets a pass on that because it was built on being like meta and talking about like the social commentary of movies and sequels and blah blah blah. Like that gets a pass. But there's so many. Okay, there should be no hate when it comes to paying homage to horror movies because all these directors are influenced by all the movies that they've seen in the past, whether it be Psycho or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm sure Ty West, one of his favorite movies is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All of your influences kind of bleed into your own artwork, no matter what it is. So every movie has a hint of something that people have done in the past, and it was a nod to it. It wasn't overdone.
It wasn't on the nose. I mean, there wasn't a scene. They weren't
like in the van talking about like, oh, we're staying in this spooky house. I wonder if someone with a chainsaw is gonna slash us up. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, like, yeah. Like when they pull up to the house, it could have been like, hey, does Leatherface ever showing up?
There wasn't a character in a wheelchair. Like, it wasn't that deliberate.
Yeah. Look, man, people are gonna write just to fucking say something negative about a movie. If that's the biggest flaw that they can find with it, whatever. Didn't bother me at all. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. I want to go back for seconds.
Phil's gonna get that dick for a second time.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see it again this week for sure. A little bit when I'm more conscious, because it was like almost midnight when I went to see it.
Yeah. I mean, shit. What am I doing today? Fuck it. I might go see it this evening. I don't know. It's Sunday. Not doing anything.
Ain't
Um,
shit to do, Craig.
I'm off work, baby. Oh, speaking of more to come, post credit scene. We got a trailer.
Completely didn't even know about this until you told
Yeah,
me.
I didn't know either, but there is somebody has footage they shot in the theater. It's on YouTube if you missed it and want to go watch it. But it is a prequel trailer to X. It is set in the early 1900s or like 1918, starring Mia Goth as young Pearl.
That's gonna be interesting. I honestly, I don't think you need a backstory, but it's gonna be interesting to see um, what it is and what Ty West could come up with. I really hope he doesn't ruin, because X is such a good movie. I really hope this doesn't like really hope the prequel doesn't like taint X, like knowing more
Yeah.
about Pearl.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Do you need a prequel? No. This could be a perfect standalone movie. Um, will I be very interested to watch it? Yes, because this is just so fucking good. I mean, if it's a notch below this, it's still going to be great as long
Yeah,
as it keeps the same sort of. I don't know. I'm very curious to see. Well, he said that he wrote the script for that movie when they got to New Zealand to film this. They were in lockdown, so he was trapped in a hotel for 2 weeks. So he was like, "Well, I've had this idea for a prequel. Now would be a perfect time to just write it." So that's what he did, and he said that the movie's shot, like it's done.
yeah.
So
Like, when is it gonna come out? Like, is it gonna come out just streaming? Is it gonna come out in theaters? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, because it depends. I mean, there's a lot of hype surrounding X already, and if people are feeling, I mean, people love the character of Pearl. I feel like uh, that would be cool if it came out in theaters, but like, I feel like you have to strike when the iron is hot. Like, if it's already done, like, put the shit out. Like, let people
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, that's true. Um, I don't know. We'll see. But there is a shot in the trailer where Pearl pushes an old man, I don't know who, up to the end of the dock and the alligators in the water. So I guess it's going to be, you know what? Maybe they'll call it Lake Placid.
That would be something. All the men that can't fuck her have to die. But that's what's like. That's where the curiosity is. Like, are we going to see her and Howard in their early stages of marriage? Are we going to see her when she's like a full blown, like she's just fucking everything in sight, and then we watch her progressively get older and how like life, like she's just struggling? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, one of her motivations for killing is I think she regrets not being more free as a younger lady.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Um, so who knows?
She was very envious of like the girls that they're allowed to just they have their sexuality, they're doing whatever they want with it, and yeah, maybe she was never allowed to do that. And at the end, when they reveal like Maxine is the one on the television,
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess we should talk about that. What do you think about that little? I guess you call it a little twist.
yeah, and if there's going to be any sort of twist, I guess more of a reveal than a twist.
True. Yeah.
Um,
So M Night Shyamalan.
no, they imagine we're not in the '70s; it's 2022 and it's modern day.
Oh man.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Me and Holly were talking about it, and like I thought, like they were watching it on television, and maybe they realized who it was, like Pearl and Howard realized that that girl on the television was in their home.
Oh,
Maybe I don't know.
maybe.
Or maybe he's like, Howard could just be randomly putting on the television and he's not really paying attention to what's going on. But yeah, it seems like Maxine like ran away from her home to just be on her own.
Well, he did turn on the television to drown out Lorraine screaming in the basement.
Yeah.
So we don't know if they were watching that TV show or fucking crazy preachers rambling. Yeah, I don't know, but I was fine with it. It wasn't like a mind blowing, like
no.
oh man,
Oh God, genius.
it was fine. It was a nice reveal. It was like okay, that adds a little. They put a little pepper on it.
Yeah, little spice.
But say when.
Never. You just gotta keep it flowing. If you're an Italiano, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Italiana. Oh man. So yeah, that was X. Good shit.
Easily, I'm going with your statement as definitely one of the best in the past 10 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
More directors need to be, getting their scripts greenlit like this. The fresh take on a slasher. I wish we would get more. Because the budgets you don't need a big budget to make a slasher movie. You just got to have an interesting story, a cool, like really good villains or monsters or creatures or something like that. And there's a lot of creative people out there that probably don't get the chance to do it just because whoever's backing them doesn't want to take a risk on something new. But A24 seems to be the go-to people to really like have creative freedom.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were saying before. Maybe this will be the start of something new because we need some slashers. Not everything has to be a metaphor.
Doesn't need to be social commentary. I mean, this had just a little layer. That's all you need for a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Other movies, sure. Hereditary is I think one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't give a fuck. I'm comfortable with saying that. That movie is deep on so many levels, but it doesn't need to always be that.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't need you don't always need to be like, I mean, Get Out balanced it perfectly. Social commentary and just like the mystery and the horror of it. But sometimes you just want to see some gore.
Yeah. Did you catch the Nope trailer again?
Dude, I'm so hyped for that fucking movie.
Yeah.
That movie's so bad.
That was the first time I saw the trailer in the theater before this movie.
Yeah?
I was like, oh, shit. And they had to throw a Marvel trailer in there too. I was like, there's another one. There it is, baby. Man.
Dude, every time I see that trailer, my dick leaks pre-cum.
Wow.
Oh, the multi-cum of madness, please.
Oh my God. I don't know how you get so hyped for. I mean, there will be like 10 more next year, so just keep it in your pants. Don't worry.
Yeah. If you want to see me while out during any movie, come with me to see a Marvel movie.
Oh my God. Hey, how was the new Batman?
It was really good.
Really? I'll watch it. I like Batman. I like all 20 reiterations of them. I get down with that.
Just when you thought you were done. No, it was really good. Robert Pattinson is great. Zoe Kravitz is great. I think you'll like it because it's way more grounded than any other Batman movie. It's not a blockbuster. Really. I mean, it goes big, but it really doesn't go like to the grand scale that a usual Batman movie would. And Paul Dano as the Riddler is fucking awesome, and there should be more. I only have one. I would say one major negative thing towards the movie, and I don't want to spoil it.
Towards Batman?
What?
Towards Batman?
Towards Batman, yeah.
Okay.
But
but
it's not about the story or the acting or it's just really every director who had ever directed like a Batman movie.
Well, you don't have to spill the olive oil on this episode, but
we're not going to spill it. We could do a 3-hour Batman episode again if you want.
Hey man, I'll talk some Batman. Give me Michael Keaton Batman. I'll talk it all fucking day.
He's coming back.
Oh, okay. Aren't they doing like a Penguin?
Yeah,
movie?
Spin-off.
That's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I don't like. All right, like at least I think it's like a limited series. It's like a 6-episode arc type of thing. But
oh, all right. God, man, these movie execs, they're just like, all right, people love Batman. We gotta. Who else can we make a movie about?
I picture you as Danny DeVito in Space Jam with the cigar, running Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, Doug, we're at about an hour and a half. This has been a lot of fun. I don't know if do you have anything else you want to say about X? Could be a small moment, or I don't know, closing thoughts.
2 small things.
Let's hear it. Let's do it.
When Maxine is walking back from the pond and Pearl is on the porch and she's like creepily waving at her. I was like, that's just perfect. Like Mia Goth in playing both parts and like the big difference between both of the personalities. Give her something. Give her accolades for it.
Yeah.
She is so good because she really played it off as creepy and decrepit, and he was great. And in all those movies, I love like the little creepy moments where it just like the camera just like lingers on, like it really embraces the slow dread and creepiness.
Yeah. Another good moment when Pearl got in bed with Maxine. Fuck, that was so creepy.
And they made the scene even longer than like it's just not like a quick scare. Like she's in the bed and she's sleeping with her and like touching her and face to face with her, and also she walks out of the room like no problem. She's just like, yeah, I was in there. And
that quick shot where Bobby Lynn bumps into Pearl in the hallway, that fucking got me. I was like, Jesus.
And she's not killing anyone. She's just like, I'm done.
That was scary, dude. That was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that Mia Goth was perfect. And the second thing, everyone should go see this movie.
Yeah, for real. I will be watching it again at some point this week.
Yes. I'm sure we'll talk about it again.
Yeah. All right, my friend. I guess that does it for X.
That's it.
Maybe next time we'll cover Triple X starring Vin Diesel. 3 times the fun.
Let's do it.
Talk about early 2000s new metal soundtracks.
Rammstein was the full movie.
Got some hate
and everything.
Got some hate read up there.
Oh yeah. Shit.
I will be heard.
I will be heard. Yes. Wow.
Yeah. Well, we'll save that for another time when we run down our favorite Vin Diesel movies.
Oh, I'm so down. The pacifier. Has to be up there.
All right. Well, if anybody out there is still watching or listening, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, if you don't mind, thumbs up the video. Hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow it a bit more and pump it up. And yeah, just thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. All right, Doug, thanks for joining me. I will talk to you next time, my friend.
Hell yeah. Love you, brother.
Love you too.